Hi everyone, welcome back to Eastwick Cottage Garden. Today is the first day of spring. It is a lovely day today here in southeast Pennsylvania. The sun is shining, there's a slight breeze. We're in the upper 50s, lower 60s in temperature. So there's a whole lot of stuff I need to get done today. So I'm going to try to do some garden cleanup. It's going to be a garden cleanup day. So we have a lot of flowers. I don't know if you can see right here, we have a bunch of our giant crocuses coming up. There are some tete-a-tete daffodils happening in the woodland garden area. I have to clean up this pot here. It totally got destroyed with all the winter snow and ice that we had, so that needs to come away. Throw that out. But I want to cut down the grasses, cut back the grasses, and clean up some of the overgrowth from last year, some of the stuff that died back from last year. I'm not going to be cleaning up any of the leaves or anything like that. We don't have temperatures high enough to preserve any of the solitary insects or pollinators that are hunkering down in those areas yet. But I'm going to clean up the top growth to neaten up the garden. I need to cut back my hellebore leaves because they are up and in full force, and just kind of prep the yard because the guy that comes to cut my grass is going to come and do some garden cleanup. So we have some of the mulch that we had from that tree. The bigger pieces are in the grass. I want to have him rake up some of that and get up some of the thatch when he comes sometime this weekend or into next week. So what we're going to do today is just kind of set up the camera and do a walk around in the garden and clean up what we can clean up. I'm going to start in the front and then work my way back. So come along with me as we go on our journey. This little guy has not flowered yet. It's been beat up a bit. So hopefully, just cutting off the dead leaves. There are some fresh leaves here, so I don't know, hopefully in the next couple of years or so, it will actually bloom. This is the Veronica white lawns. Okay, so we are in the front border, which is below the front window. I'm going to clean up a bunch of stuff in here. So on the end here, you can hardly see that, but I have some coreopsis that needs to get cut back. I have here is chrysanthemum. I'm going to cut that back and clean out one of the little grasses here. So just going to get going with this. I think for the coreopsis, I'm going to do the chop and drop method. Hello everyone. It is actually the next week after I started doing the garden cleanup last week on the first day of spring. I decided I was just going to continue to do some more of the garden cleanup. I didn't film that because the weather was so changeable. I had to get out when I could. So I did do a few more things in the long border, and I did some of the cleanup on the front of the immersive garden bed. So I'll show you that. Also, the guy that comes and cuts my grass actually came by yesterday and did dethaching of the yard. So this year I want to focus on the overall health of the actual lawn. I want to kind of cut down some of the weeds that I don't like. I want to keep the wildflowers, but cut down some of the weeds that are like the crabgrass and that kind of thing that are not really helping the lawn situation at all. He came and did the dethaching, and he also put down fertilizer. Today, he's actually going to come and aerate. So we're going to get some air movement back into the soil. When he did the dethaching yesterday, he and I were so excited because you could actually smell life in the soil. It smelled so sweet, and it was almost like you could feel the lawn going, ah, thank you very much. So we're going to continue on with trying to improve that throughout the season. We're going to lay some grass seed down in the fall so that it can benefit from the cooler weather and the wetter weather of the fall. I'm going to focus today on taking care of the roses that are the climbing roses along the fence line. So what I realized, and I don't know if I mentioned this before, I tried to intertwine the roses into the fence. But the mesh in the front is not strong enough to support that, and I think it's going to end up damaging the fence and then also damaging the roses. So what I'm going to do is to cut them back and then to start retraining them to actually tie them onto the fence. I think that that will be a lot better and more healthy for the plant and more sustainable for the fencing as well. So I just want to kind of get them cut down. It is time to cut roses back. They're starting to bud out. So if you are in your garden, you might want to think about in the next week or so getting your roses trimmed as well. I was kind of giving myself a hard time with not being able to do the garden cleanup as fast as I normally do. But then I also remembered that I have a whole lot more garden beds than I had before. So I need to give myself grace and get the cleanup done as I can and not stress myself out about that. Anyway, so we're just gonna start the camera rolling and we're just gonna get as much done as we can today, and I'll take you along for the ride and we'll see what we can get done today. So I don't know if you can see here, as you can see on this side, it's actually growing. I've weaved it in between the fence, which I think would look beautiful, but the mesh, I don't think the mesh is up to being able to hold it. So I'm going to cut back the ones that are intertwined. The ones up at the top, I'll show you them later, aren't intertwined. They are just attached with clips. So we're just going to get going and cutting back, starting down from the bottom, and cut through and start afresh this year. The other thing I want to do is to put a little fertilizer down. Try not to disturb the leaves too much. Go in with a little rose tone to give it a good feed. Scratch it in a bit. We're supposed to be getting some rain this week, so give it a little bit of nourishment to set it off for the season. Okay, so this rose right here that we have is our Woolerton Old Hall. We have 2 of these. So what I've done is just cut back some of the stuff that was intertwined. It's actually a lot less than it's less than I thought I was going to have to cut back, because I did start tying in some things later in the season. So we'll just go with what that does. I think I'm going to put a clip on this one. It's not ready to tie in yet, but I just want to clip it. Give it some structure. Okay. And then it's moving on to the next. Okay, so this rose here is called Fruity Petals, and it is a pink. It's like a graduated pinkish, fuchsia-ish rose. Very, very pretty. So we're going to trim this one up and see what we can salvage. Okay, so this is actually growing through down here, but I'm going to give it some chance to do something and then maybe cut it back after some more of these lower branches start pushing through. So that is it for the front. So we trimmed back the roses and put some fertilizer down. So that's that for that. So what I'm going to do now is continue on the fertilizer train. During the week we worked on the long border. I worked on the long border to do some cleaning up and trimming back. So there's 3 roses in this border as well. I see some dead that I still need to cut off. So I'm going to go ahead and fertilize them right here. This is supposed to be right in this area here. It's supposed to be the Alfred Sisley rose. That I doubt that that's what that is, because it's not blooming the way it should be. So we're going to wait one more season, see how it blooms, and then I'll contact the company to let them know what's going on. And then we have 2 Living Easy roses that are really tiny in this area as well so far. So we're just going to go through, and one is right in the center next to, it's like right there. And then there's one a little further beyond. It is very, very windy, so I apologize for the audio. I'm gonna go ahead and fertilize them. And then we have a Live and Easy rose over in this flower bed over here that I think I'm gonna try to do some cleaning up of that one and put some fertilizer down since we're out here in the front, and we can do what we need to do with that. Okay, so that is going to be it for this video, I think. I'm going to put a compilation of the clean out that we did last weekend and some of the things we did this weekend. Hopefully the audio was good with all the wind. And I'll be doing some more cleaning out this week coming up. And I know this is Easter weekend coming up, so I hope that you guys are able to spend Easter, if you celebrate, hope you spend it with your family and have a blessed time and safe travels if you're traveling for the holiday. But I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and you guys take care. Bye-bye.